Okay, good afternoon, and let's now talk about the chapter 20, or the forensic serology and bloodstain pattern analysis. Again, this is the chapter 20 of our module. So for this lesson, it is expected that you need to understand the importance of serology and bloodstain pattern so that we can use this in dispute and crime resolution. And then, of course, you will enumerate and highlight the process in the said examination. In this lesson, you are supposed to first answer why is it na important ang pag-aaral of serology and bloodstain pattern analysis in crime investigation. So supposedly, kung tayo ay naka-Google Meet, you will give me the answer for this. However, since we are not, then you pause for a while and you answer this. Personally na lang siguro, why is it that studying the serology and bloodstain pattern is important in crime investigation? Pag sinabi nating serology, serology is used to describe a broad scope of laboratory tests. Meaning to say, pinag-aaralan natin yung availability of serum antibody reaction. Ibig sabihin nito, or specific antigen and serum antibody reaction, tinitingnan natin yung presence of blood in whatever evidences that we are having. Then kapag may nakita tayong blood doon sa crime scene, then definitely it's up to you to discover which particular blood, if that blood is animal blood or human blood, and later on you will now get the sample of the blood. So kailan nagsimula ang serology? It started in 20th century, wherein yung pong mga physicians or mga doctor that time have tried to transfuse blood from one to another individual. Ibig sabihin nito, nagtry silang isalin yung dugo sa isang individual, sa isang tao, punta sa ibang tao. However, hindi laging ganon, hindi naging successful yung blood transfusion nila na experiment because tandaan natin na meron tayong different blood types. So, ang nangyari, probably, kunwari, sinalinan ako ng dugo from other person, then nag-coagulate. Ibig sabihin ng nag-coagulate, namuo yung dugo sa akin kasi nagkaroon ako ng immediate reaction to the blood given to me. Hence, pwede ako magkaroon ng instantaneous death. That is why nagkaroon ng pag-aaral of blood noon, or yung tinatawag nating serology. And remember, blood refers to a highly complex mixture. So yung dugo natin is a mixture of cells. Aside from the cells, yung cells natin can be white blood cells, red blood cells. Meron din siyang enzymes, meron din siyang proteins and inorganic substances that is there. That is why pwede nating makuha itong mga component na to when we are studying serology. Okay? So, bakit kailangan nating gamitin ang blood sa ating crime investigation? Remember po, blood and blood stains are very vital in evidences or as evidences in crimes of violence. So, merong mga gruesome na event na nangyari. That is why we need to use this in our crime investigation. So, again, pwede natin gamitin yung dugo or yung blood stains as our evidence. Okay? So, meron tayong dalawang component ng dugo natin. So, we have plasma. This is 55% of our blood. So, ang plasma po is composed of water yan primarily. And then, the other 45% is composed of blood content or yung tinatawag nating suspended solid cells. So, ito example niyan. Dito sa gilid, ito siguro na ito, may kikita nyo dito yung iba't ibang component ng dugo natin. So, yung nasa taas yung plasma, okay? And then, yung nasa ilalim yung color red or yung tinatawag nating hematocrit. So, ang normal blood type is this is the normal one. However, pag ano ka, may leukemia ka, anemia ka, mas marami yung plasma kesa sa red blood cells. Or mas marami yung white blood cells mo sa red blood cells. And makikita natin dito yung different component of our blood dito sa left. So, 45% niyan is red blood cells, white blood cells, and then platelets. Ay yung platelets bagay yung mabilis na nawawala pag nagkakadengue tayo. Ang platelets kasi is important siya in blood clotting. Now, doon naman sa 55% na plasma, majority of that is composed of water. Then, meron siyang proteins like albumin, globulin, and fibrinogen. Ito po ang involved din in the blood clotting processes. And of course, yung ating hormone, kung saan nire-release siya ng mga organs natin. And then of course, nandyan sa dugo din natin, kasama yung mga food molecules na na-digest ng ating digestive system. Kung may ininom tayong gamot, si oxygen, etc. So, nandyan yan sa ating dugo. Now, for our red blood cells, remember, ang trabaho ni red blood cells is to transport oxygen from the lungs to the body tissues. Meaning to say, pag red blood cells, yung veins natin, di ba, meron tayong veins, mga different blood vessels rather na lang. So, ang trabaho niyan is to transport red blood cells from our heart or towards our heart. Meaning to say, from our hearts, may contain siyang oxygen. Pag naman to our heart, papunta sa heart natin, ibig sabihin, deoxygenated blood na siya, nagamit na yung oxygen. So, kailangan siyang ibalik sa heart kasi sa heart natin, nagkakaroon tayo ng transfer of oxygen among the respiratory system. Okay? And remember, ang ating blood cells are millions. Meaning to say, napakadaming red blood cells natin or ng ating blood, hindi lang natin siya makita. Definitely kasi that's very minute. Meron din tayo tinatawag na antigen system. Pag sinabi natin antigen system, meron tayong 15 blood antigen na na kinakalaban nito yung mga mga kinakalaban niya yung mga foreign objects. Meron din tayo tinatawag na ABO blood system or tinatawag nating ABO type. Type A, Type B, Type AB, and Type O. And then, meron tayong rhesus positivity and rhesus negativity. This is the RH system. Kasi yung Type A, may Type A negative, may Type A positive. That's the rhesus system, yung positivity and negativity. Then, meron tayong tinatawag na white blood cells and platelets. So, these are the components of our blood. So, remember that. So, ito yung different test na ginagawa natin kapag gusto nating malaman kung may presence ba ng dugo doon sa crime scene. So, anong gagawin natin? Test natin kung may presence of dugo. So, first is spot test. So, si spot test, tinitingnan natin kung may presence of dugo. So, pwede natin gamitin dito si benzidine. This is the presumptive. Ibig sabihin, magbe-benzidine ka muna before other tests. Pwede din naman si Castle-Meyer. Si Castle-Meyer, first gumagamit tayo ng phenolphthalein solution and hydrogen peroxide. Tapos pag nag-color pink siya, meaning to say, may hemoglobin na available doon sa component ng sample mo. So pag nag-pink, ibig sabihin may dugo doon sa sample. Pag luminol test naman, this is, ang ginagawa natin is, tinatanggalan natin ng ilaw yung crime scene, tapos may binubudbud tayong luminol. Tapos, pag inilawan natin siya ng ultraviolet lamp at nagkaroon ng color, ibig sabihin, ayun yung parte ng crime scene na may pwedeng source of blood. Then, we have also Takayama and Takeman tests. So, ito ang example. This is the benzidine test or the presumptive test for the presence of the blood. So, ang ginagawa natin dito, pwedeng may urine or wala. So, may sample ka, ilalagay mo sa test tube, lalagyan mo ng 2 ml of benzidine solution, imimix natin siya sa acetic acid na 100 ml. Then, isa-shake natin lang siya. Tapos po, pag nag-color green or blue, ibig sabihin may dugo dun sa sample na yon. Okay? Ganon ang Benzidine test. Next is si Kastle-Meyer test. Ito yung nilalagyan natin ng phenolphthalein in solution. So, pag nag-color pink, ibig sabihin may plasma dun sa sample natin. So, anong ginagawa natin? Nagsaswab lang tayo ng konti. Tapos, nakita natin may spot doon sa crime scene. So, isaswab lang natin siya ng konti. Tapos, lalagyan natin siya ng phenolphthalein in solution. Pag nag-color pink siya, ibig sabihin may presence of blood doon. So, yun na yung kukunin mong sample. Pag luminol test naman, ito yung example niya. This is again presumptive test. Hindi natin kasi alam kung saan particular spot may dugo, kunwari, or may trace pa ng dugo. So, lalagyan mo lang na, yung luminol natin, lalagyan mo lang siya ng hydrogen peroxide, tapos isi-spray mo siya doon, yung hydrogen peroxide. Tapos, iintayin mo lang siya for a few minutes, may certain minutes siya, tapos, papatayin mo yung ilaw, magte-turn ka ngayon ng ultraviolet lamp. Ito nakikita nyo sa taas is, ito yung mismong itsura of the crime scene. Siguro nilinis siya. Okay? Siguro pinunasan. Yung gusto mong makita kung anong particular area yung meron pang trace, eto na yung nasa ilalim, yung inisprayhan natin ng luminol. Okay? Tapos, it is viewed under dark condition. So, pinatay natin yung ilaw, tapos nag-ultraviolet lamp tayo, tapos ito yung condition niya. Yun. Next is Takayama test. Si Takayama test naman, meron tayong substance na available, tapos gusto nating malaman kung may portion ng dugo. So, ang ginagawa po dito is, nilalagyan natin iniinit natin yung heme, okay, or yung iron coating ng hemoglobin, tapos, titingnan natin po siya sa microscope. Pag ininit natin yung hemoglobin, ganito yung magiging produce niya. Yung mga parang color pink na yan. Okay? So, ang ginagamit nitong reagent is saturated glucose solution, tapos sodium hydroxide and pyridine. 100 ml lang siya. Imimix mo siya together and eventually, ganito ang result niya pag tinignan mo siya sa microscope. Then, we have also Takeman test. So, sa Takeman test, tinitingnan dito ang availability of hematine or hemoglobin din. So, pag tinignan natin dito, makikita mo under the microscope yung ganitong condition. Okay? Formation of rhombic crystal. This is brown in color under the microscope and arranged in single or cluster. Kasi pag nag-blood clotting, di cluster siya. Yan, ang lalagay mo lang is sodium chloride or salt plus glacial acetic acid. Then, imimix mo siya in 100 ml, tapos i-drop mo lang siya doon. Tapos, itingnan mo lang siya under the microscope kung magkakaproduce siya ng ganyan na condition or solution. Okay? Then, another one is, pwede din nating tingnan kung ang available na sample ay for animal or human. Kasi, syempre, kung may animal blood, it can tamper or it can hamper the quality of your investigation. That is why we can do precipitin test. Pag sinabi natin precipitin test, gagamit lang tayo dito, titingnan natin kung may precipitate na mabubuo. Kasi ang tao, pag nilagyan po siya ng reagent, nagpuproduce siya ng precipitate. Pag ang other animal blood, wala halos ng ganon. Pwede din natin gamitin is gel diffusion and electrophoresis. Nakikita niyo later yung example. So, si gel diffusion, gagamit tayo ng agar-agar or para siyang gelatin to test whether there is a human blood doon. So, example niyan is ito. Si precipitin test, lalagyan mo lang siya ng reagent. Tapos nakikita mo, may ganito siyang itsura. Ito nasa left. Ganyan ang itsura po ng dugo natin pag nilagay natin sa centrifuge. So, meaning to say, meron siyang precipitate. Sa taas si hemoglobin, sa gitna yung precipitate, and then yung antibody sa ilalim. Meaning to say, meron siyang precipitate sa center. Pero pag yung animal blood, walang ganyan. One throughout, lang siya, characteristic. Then, pag gel diffusion, gumagamit tayo ng, again, ng agar condition or solution, kung saan lalagay natin yung precipitate, lalagyan natin ng agar, tapos lalagyan natin na siya ng sample. Pag nagbuo siya ng precipitin band, ganyan, yung parehas din kanina, pag nagkaroon siya ng band dito sa gitna, meaning to say, meron siyang blood doon. Or meron siyang antibody na available. Kasi nagre-react po ang antibody sa agar. Ganon. And meron tayo electrophoresis. Tinitingnan natin talaga siya. Kukuha tayo ng blood sample, tapos titingnan natin siya under the microscope kung ano yung color niya. Kasi remember, may different spectrum ang dugo ng tao compare sa spectrum ng animal blood. Okay? And of course, meron din tayong tinatawag na blood clotting. Ito yung nangyayari pag nasugatan tayo, tapos may kita mo na may nagtutubig-tubig ng konti after few minutes or few hours, and eventually may kumakatin na, tapos eventually nag-heal. That is the process of blood clotting, kung saan yung natatrap na blood cells ay inaayos na siya ng thrombocytes, or yung ating mga parte ng blood cells natin na finifix niya. Ngayon, removing clotted blood yields a yellowish liquid called serum. Pag tinanggal mo siya, may nalabas siyang nana. That's the serum. This yellow liquid contains certain proteins or tinatawag nating antibody na kumakalaban doon sa mga harmful organisms na available doon sa ating blood clotting or sa ating wound. And then, kapag ganon, kukuha tayo ng sample doon at pwede natin gamitin yung test naman that utilizes anti-serum tests. Kasi dinidetermine yung mga antibodies na available. So, ang antibody natin ay specific to. So, hindi lahat ng tao pwedeng salinan ng dugo ng kahit sino. Okay? So, may pwede lang sa atin na match. That is why antibody ang tawag natin doon. Nagre-react yung blood natin, depende sa kung compatible ba yung blood natin or hindi. So, meron tayong dalawang antibody reaction. Yung isa is magko-combine, yung isa is mag-agglutinate. Pag sinabi natin magko-combine, wala siya, magkaparehas siya. Pag mag-agglutinate naman is, pag mag-agglutinate ay, mamumuo yung dugo. Okay? So, mamamatay doon yung tao kasi hindi sila match. Tapos, dito naman sa blood stain pattern, tinitingnan natin yung pattern that happened during the bleeding. Meaning to say, tinitingnan natin kung ano ang condition ng suspect at ng victims. So, gaano kalayo yung suspect, gaano kalayo yung victim. Makikita nyo yung sample dun sa hulihan. So, titingnan natin yung characteristic ng surface texture. Kapag harder and less porous, meaning to say, medyo matigas pero hindi siya namumuo-muo, ang spatter result nun ay less. Pero pag yung direction of travel of blood striking may be discerned because of their shape. Ibig sabihin, pointed end of a blood stain always faces the direction of the pattern. Kung saan nanggaling yung blood stain, doon madalas ang crime scene. Okay? So, kung saan unang tumulo yung dugo, okay? Yun yung pinakamalapit sa crime scene. So, angle of impact naman can be determined by measuring the degree of circular distortion. Kung napahiga pala yung tao, makikita natin yung angle of impact. Siyempre, halimbawa, natumba na, doon na namatay yung tao. So, pwede natin malaman kung saan mismo yung impact of the one that causes the death because of the angle of the tao due to the blood stain pattern. And then, the origin of blood spatter in two-dimensional configuration can be established po by drawing a straight line. Ito draw natin lang siya ng ganon. Tapos, tingnan natin, habang palayo ng palayo, lumiliit na ng lumiliit yung spatter ng dugo. Yung spots ng dugo. Kasi, perhaps naglalakad na yung tao hanggang nawala na siya. Okay. So, pag nag-converge siya, ibig sabihin, tumigil siya at certain portion, meaning to say, pwedeng doon nang galing yung tao, or pwedeng doon na natumba yung tao or whatsoever. Okay? Example of that blood stain pattern are the following. Pag doon na siya nahulog, doon na siya natumba, may pool or saturated. Talagang doon lang yung location ng dugo. Pag droplet, ibig sabihin, pag may droplet kang ganun, ibig sabihin, gumalaw yung tao. Okay? Pag may blood flow, ibig sabihin, medyo movement ng tao ay mabagal. Okay? Swipe. Kailan nagkaroon ng swipe? Kapag yung tao ay nakapitan niya yung dugo, tapos may nahawakan siyang ibang parts. Similar with wiping. Wiping naman, pinunasan niya. Okay? Pattern stain, ibig sabihin nito natungtungan or may dugo na natungtungan siya initially. Pag low velocity, this is atong projected stain natin ay depende sa kanyang movement. Or gaano kalayo pala yung suspect sa victim. Pag malapit po yung suspect, medyo malakas po yung, halimbawa, binaril mo siya. Tapos yung nasa likuran niya ay wall. Yung spatter niya, yung stain niya ay makapal. Ganito sa taas. Ito. Okay? Pero pag medyo malayo siya ng konti, pero hindi napakalayo, ang kanyang spatter ay ito. However, pag high velocity, ibig sabihin na to, medyo malayo ka, ang spatter ng dugo mo ay medyo ganon. Medyo manipis. Okay, so that's an application of blood stain. So may dala-dala ka nitong chart. Tapos inaaral mo ngayon yung blood stain. Okay? So thank you so much for listening about this. And I hope magamit natin to kapag tayo ay, although ayaw naman natin nag-aaral about mga ganito kasi ibig sabihin may mga gruesome crime tayo na-encounter. However, we can utilize this in the actual examination. Thank you so much for listening.